Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the A&N R&B podcast tonight. Where we'll be talking about people finding love and keeping it, but we're going to do it from a parent's perspective today. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. You have time to share and join us for the most deep, the most pivotal R&B podcast with a little hip hop flavor in it. So without further ado, it is time for us to go to the title of the show. And we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the new episode of A&N R&B, which is R&B Talk with a Hip Hop Soul. I am the Hip Hop Soul, Karev. Oh, here we go. This way. Karev at Heritage Hip Hop. And this right here is my brother. Introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your man Nas Romantic with you.
And Nika is doing family things. We want to say peace and salute to our sis and also her mom, get well. And her dad too. Salute to daddy. Because it seems like they always forget daddies when we talk about fathers. It's only about mothers.
Yeah. Yeah, we get the short end of the stick all the time, every time, man.
And let's give a shout out to our brother Big A, who knows a Big A at. He probably being nasty. Or he doing something else. You know what I'm saying? But before we get into today's show, please, everybody, we ask that you hit the like button, join us in the comments, share this video, and subscribe to A&N R&B on Instagram at ANNONRNB, and follow the YouTube page as well. Bro, I'm going to leave it to you today. I'm going to let you host. I'm taking a break. We're talking about finding love and keeping it, but from a parent's perspective. Please, bro, enlighten us on that, and I'll let you lead the show.
All right. Well, once again, it's your man Nas Romantic. You are listening to part 2 of How Do You Find Love and How You Keep It. This edition is the Parents Edition. Finding love when it comes to children it's an amazing thing, because even if you have one of those like unexpected type situations going on, when that child comes there, it's like the center of your whole universe turns around, and you start to focus on that kid. Like, I remember coming home from the hospital when my first set of kids was born. Yeah, I had twins. When my first set of kids was born, you're driving extra, like they're the most precious thing to you in the world. Like, I remember driving home extra careful when I first got them in those car seats. You know, I'm up there getting mad at everybody driving past me, because you think everybody about to hit your car, because like you're carrying it, you're definitely carrying precious cargo. That's what they are. They're like the most precious cargo to you in the world when you're driving that car. So it was like old lady style, man. And to just sit there and like just have not one but like two bundles, one in each arm, is crazy. To have them look at you and laugh, you know, the first thing they see besides, you know, the doctor coming out the womb is like, you know, you as the parents. And you see their eyes full of that wonder and that joy, to see them just had cracked that first smile, to see them take their first steps, man. It's an amazing thing. Like, I really think like if you think love in a relationship is good, like having a kid is like one of the most one of the most inspiring, one of the most like special events in your life. Like, you get, I like, and me, like, I'm an overprotective dad, so like, where can I go from here, man? It's
Wherever you want.
you know, it's, man, like, but they also could drive you crazy too. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They also could drive you crazy.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'm a step parent.
Right.
So love for me when it comes to finding love and getting it and all that, it's totally different for me.
Right.
All right. So unfortunately, my journey for love went very cyclical.
Mhm.
And you learn how not only how crazy other people are, you learn how crazy you are too. Because you
Oh
keep
yeah.
choosing these crazy motherfuckers too,
Oh
right?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna just say someone opened up their life to me and it came with a family.
Mhm.
Stepdaddyhood is not the easiest thing in the world.
Mhm.
It's difficult. But when you step in for people, a person or people who are not fulfilling their obligations, and you become the caretaker of someone who's innocent in the world, and
Right.
you have to see them go to their next level, that's a blessing
Right.
within itself. And I think we take it for granted because a lot of people think that when you become a parent, everything gets harder. I don't think it gets harder. I think you have more of an appreciation for what's around you to know what's good and what's bad, and also makes you step your game up because everybody says it's not about me anymore. You know what I'm saying? But it never was really about you, but you were a part of the bigger picture, and now you see that bigger picture. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I laugh at this all the time, but it also makes you realize what your parents went through as they were
In
raising you.
what way?
Like, the way you feel for your kids, like, wow, my mom, my dad, they had this same love for me. Or, damn, I drove my mom crazy like this. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like it's like an ongoing joke with me and my mom right now when I'm yelling at my little one. Like, she gets a kick out of it. Cause I'm looking at her like, what you like? What's so funny? She's like, you used to do the same thing to me. So, know, I guess she gets a nostalgia thing out of it. And like, even that, even now, like my kids are grown, and I remember my mom saying like, I was going through a situation, she helped me out. I was like, look, I'm a grown man. Like, I got rope for this by myself. She was like, no, you're still my baby. You know, and now I understand what that means because no matter how old your kids get, like my kids in their well, yeah, my oldest are in their 20s. Like no matter how old they get, when I look at them, I still see those little girls I used to take to Toys R Us every weekend. I still see those little girls I used to take to the park. You know what I'm saying? Even my oldest son, I still see that little boy that used to want to come with me instead of going to school. When I had to drop them off. You know what I'm saying? And no matter how old they get, they could be 100 years old. You'll still see them as that child, as that little kid, and it's
Yeah, that's
hard.
peace.
It's hard, like trying to, it's hard letting that go sometimes, man.
So my thing is this, because everybody's in a rush to have sex, right? Everybody want to bust that nut
Hmm.
and go home.
Mm.
But the act of sex brings children.
Right.
And then we have this narrative that came from the 1970s through government intervention, I should say, being the cause of the thing. There's this belief that men of color, especially, don't take care of their children. And we have some outstanding single fathers in the world that are busting their asses to show the world different.
Right.
And also on the flip side, we got mothers out here who are burning everything down just to make sure that they have for their children.
Right.
So all the internet narrative of men ain't ish and women ain't ish and all that, I think those are selective people in a small sample size that people are trying to use to generalize for the whole. What do you think about that?
True. I'm one of them. Pat myself on the back. I mean, all you men out there, single dads, that's doing the damn thing. Pat yourself on the back, man. Because, like, for myself, speaking for myself, like when I drop my son off to school, my youngest, I see a lot of dads dropping their kids off to school. You know what I mean? I see just as many, if not more, than the mothers. Feel me? Um, I go to the I go to the what they have. They have a men's thing at the school. All the dads come in and have a meeting on how they can interact with the school, do things for the school. Um, it's not empty. It's not. It's at least like seven guys in there talking along with the pastor on how we could get things straight in the school. So men do want to be a part of a child's lives. You know, I know the popular narrative is like Karev says, like men ain't ish. They don't want to be a part of a child's lives. That's a lie. That's a straight lie. Because I see the opposite every day.
Yeah, I mean, we got like if anybody has never unfollowed, there's an Instagram page called Hoe Busters, right? They
Shout out
are
to Hope Busters.
they are notorious for destroying people based on their activities, I should say. And there's a young lady on there that was like, don't have children with black men because black men don't love their children. And when I saw that, I was like, I've never seen that. So what the hell is she talking about? And why are we generalizing men of color like this? And the same thing goes for there may be some men out there who don't love their children and want to leave and just have mad women and children and stuff, which is their choice. I mean, the woman chose to lay with them anyway. But there's some horrible mothers out there too. And women just can't get everything given to them. I think the thing about love when it comes to being a parent is not only appreciating the seed that you have, it's appreciating the partner that you made the seed with too. And that's where I think a lot of the complication comes in because there's a lot of women out there that suffer from side chick syndrome, knowing they wanted to be the main girl and they weren't. And then some of them got pregnant and then that caused that. It's side dude syndrome too, with a guy is like, F that, you're gonna be mine forever, poking holes in their rubbers and stuff. And they doing stuff. Hey man, this is a reality, man. This is reality. So I mean, it's very disingenuous when it comes to who we are and what life is. Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. For my grandson, listen, I fear for what he's gonna have to go through in the world as he gets older. What about you, Nas? When you think about your children, how does your outlook on the future look for them at this time?
Man, I'm glad you said that, man. Listen, even though my kids are traveling and stuff like that, at least my girls are. It's like you scared. You're scared, like especially like I said, I'm an overprotected dad. Even though I don't talk to them like all the time, but stuff like that rolls to your mind because every time you look out or you see the news, somebody's getting killed. Police done killed somebody, baby. You know what I'm saying? Somebody baby done got kidnapped. Somebody baby done got murdered in the street. You know what I mean? Might not even been an intended target, but they got hit anyway. It's all the stuff. All the stuff rolls through your head, and sometimes it could get it could get crazy. It get crazy. It's a lot of stuff that we had to go through as we were growing up. It's 20 times worse now. And as a parent, you worry. You can't help but worry. Those are your, like I said, those are your babies. No matter how old they get, those are always going to be your babies. And you can't stand the thought of anything happening to your baby because that's the most precious thing in the world to you.
Man, it's something about when somebody chooses to come to earth and they choose to be yours. And like today's society, I don't know if you've seen it, but did you see the story in the news recently about the jealous brother-in-law? And this man killed his brother's wife and 9-year-old child, and they found him on the run in Philadelphia.
They killed him.
Or the woman who couldn't be with the man she wanted, so she drowned herself and her baby in the car. This is the type of stuff that scares the living daylights out of me when it comes to the people in my family because you have people who they may find interesting, and if you tell them not to be with them, they're gonna want to be with them anyway because that's their choice. But
Live and learn. Yeah.
but man, yo, we're in the time now where nothing's off the table. You have Men raping men, women raping women. You got the transgender thing. You got the drug thing. You got the social media thing. You got over sexualization. And if you haven't been paying attention, we're reliving the 1950s and 60s all over again with all the racist stuff going on.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, as a person who even teaches little children, I fear people have lost the social responsibility of caring for these young ones and giving them the best chances that they had to succeed. I mean, what you say about that?
Yeah, even I think like with the schools now, I think they
Hmm.
they teach them just enough to get out there and work for them.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I mean? They don't the way they teach math and reading and stuff. They don't even teach cursive no more. They don't teach them how to write nothing. It's like they just want you to be smart enough to go work their job, dumb enough not to get ahead.
Facts. And you know what it is, yo? It's because a lot of us don't understand today's way of showing love is protection, and protection comes at a high price and it has a high value. You have to know what goes on in your child's life at all times. Like in school, if you don't know what the school's curriculum is or the standards of grading, you're not going to understand what it is your child is going through. In today's society, yo, we have so many different ideals that there's no standard for people to all do at the same time. I was watching a video the other day about schooling in Norway, and the people from America was like, "Well, how do you know how to send your child to the right school?" And da da da. And the woman in Norway said, "No, all schools in Norway teach the same thing the same way. So we all have the same value of education, and that's like the number one school system in the world. Norway, Sweden, Denmark. You know what I'm saying? They they're like, yo, a child needs to play. They're only in school 4 hours a day. And any other hours they have in school, they're actively using what they learned that day to put into practice. So the one day they're going to be cooking, one day they're going to be science, one day they're going to be doing math, one day they're going to be writing in history, one day they're going to be like, you know what I'm saying? And it's practical learning. Today, you know how kids learn? Some people get pissed off the child is crying and they give them a tablet and they go away. So what exactly can they be taught if the the standard bearer or the loving protector is not dealing with them at all? And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to the time now within the next 2 to 3 years. Those are the pandemic babies.
Yeah.
Not now. These are not the pandemic babies. These are the babies that lived through the pandemic.
Mhm.
In about 2 years, next year, 2 years from here, we're talking 2024, 25, 26. Those are going to be the pandemic babies. Those are the ones who really did not get the nurturing. Those are the ones that had to stay in the house. Those are the ones that they're really looking at social emotional development and seeing what happened and what kind of love the parents were giving the children so they can learn how to interact with each other. Because you know what's disgusting, yo? You have kids today who can't go outside and play
Mm.
and they don't know how. We have kids today that's on their phones that don't know how to have a good conversation.
Mhm.
We have people today looking for love at a swipe instead of at a conversation.
Mhm.
What you think about that?
Yeah, we touched on that before, man.
Mm-hmm.
This whole technology thing is a blessing and a curse. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? It's convenient, but I think people overuse it. I really do. It's like I said before. Like how you get to know somebody if you're just you know you got Twitter fingers all day, you're texting all day. Like when you're texting, you don't get the context of the message. Like how we're talking right now, you can hear the nuances in my voice. You don't get that. You don't get that through Twitter. You don't get that through the IG. You don't get that through your texting app. You got to get out and interact with people, and the kids are not learning that. I mean, you know what? I take my son to the park. He likes to play basketball. I thank God when I'm at work, my mom would take him out to the park so he could play with the other kids. He's getting a chance to interact. So that's good for him. But like for the most part, the most interaction kids get is through Fortnite or whatever multiplayer game they're playing right now.
Well, yeah, during the pandemic, that was very critical, because a lot of kids are like, well, I have to wake up to go to school. Now I have to go to school. I have to wake up just to sit quiet room in the house so I could get my work done in school, which is bananas. But see, that's that. I think the pandemic showed us how much love there truly is and is not among people in their own places. Because check this out, man. Domestic violence went up. I mean, we had suicides come up. We had child abuse go up. So it really makes you think, where was the love then as compared to where was it before? Because there was people making having love through convenience or through the satisfaction of each other. I want to ask you this question, yo. Has there ever been a pressing moment in your life where the child you had turned your day or your movement around because of a need or something, and you didn't want to disappoint them?
All the time. What do you mean by that? Like,
Tell me what you got from it first.
um, you don't want to see a look of disappointment on your kids at all, man. It makes you feel like the most terrible parent in the world. So, I used to bust my ass. Like I would show up to all his field trips. I make sure I go with him, so I'll be there to enjoy the trip with him, buy him souvenirs, get him that gift for having a good report card at the end of the year. Even for his birthdays, I make sure like I was able to get the present that he wanted. You know what I mean? Or I was just able to be there if he wanted to play. Even though we adults, we working, we dead ass tired.
Mm-hmm.
But this boy want to play Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to see that sad look on his face for me saying, "Nah, I'm too tired. Wait a little bit later." So I drag myself out of bed and get to the middle of the house and start playing Star Wars with him. You know what I'm saying? Like you never
Yeah,
want to see
man.
that disappointed look on the kid's face. That look breaks me down. It breaks me down.
And that's the thing. Imagine how broken it is to want to give, but you can't give.
Right.
What my man said, when the heat start working, then the heat start working. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, it wasn't until I seen the baby and had the baby in my hands
Hmm.
and that look of joy when they look at you,
Yeah.
it's like nothing in the world will ever stop you from giving comfort to that child. And as people of color, we're with so much of the world against us, love for our own is like, especially our children, is like the last beacon of hope that we can have in a world that condemns us because they think we have the mark of evil on us when in actuality we don't. You know what I mean? I want to bring up my brother real quick. We got a special person here who could talk to us about how he experienced love as a son from two great parents. Check this out. Who's that right there?
Big A.
What's up, bro? He muted. Your sound is not working. Now, can you talk now? Nope. Can't hear you, bro. Leave and come back in. Yo, Big A is crazy, yo.
Well, get back to the disappointment thing, yo. That brings back a memory. I remember remember we were younger and laser tag was out.
Laser tag was the shit.
Laser tag, I had full time though. So I went in laser tag, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was my birthday, and I went in laser tag. So my mom went out and she was trying her damnedest to go get it, and she couldn't get it. So my grandmother was living with us at the time. She was like, "Yeah, your mom was able to get it." I was like, "Oh, damn." I was on the verge of tears, but I remember her telling me like, she was like, "Nah, don't, don't cry, don't cry, don't be like that." Your mom felt, she felt so bad that she couldn't get it for you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And now, as I'm older, going back to what I said before, I understand how she felt. You know what I mean? Because you never want to see that look of disappointment on your child's face, man. You always want to be that. You want to be your kid's superhero. You know what I mean?
Speaking of superheroes,
Here is Big A. Those are
What's up? Can y'all hear me now?
yeah, definitely.
There you go. There you go. All right. I was over here where I was worried because I've been listening here. I had some technical stuff I had to handle behind the scenes, so I'm back. I'm here. I'm here. I've been here since 8:09. Y'all
Big
Hey,
just
A.
didn't
hey.
see me.
Big A.
So check this out. We're talking about love and keeping it from a parent's perspective, right?
Yep.
I want you to talk about the love that you've experienced from your parents and how you think you could translate that love to somebody today.
Well, my parents were always honest with me. Honesty at a default. The saying in the household was, "You can lie to everybody else, but don't you lie to me."
Right?
It's kind of old school because I've heard it before from other people, but my parents lived on that. Our rule was the honesty rule: don't lie. If you did something wrong, let us know so then we could figure it out as a collective. You know what I mean? We deal with it. We deal with it head on. We don't lie to each other. Something happened, let it be known. Let it be known, and I live by that. If I make a mistake, I live up to it. I ain't gonna hide or try to share stray away from it because what most people don't realize is when you do that, you cause more problems than results. And when you're honest, you don't know what can happen from your honesty. But when you lie, you take away the opportunity of something good happening. So, from those moral standpoints, I was taught love. I was shown love. I seen other people not receive the love I had in my household. My hat looks crooked and shit. Take the shit off. My parents also instilled into me showing respect not just to them but to others. And my mom used to always tell me when I was a kid, because as a kid I used to be nervous around. I still have anxiety at time around people. It don't show, but I have it from time to time. And I always ask my mom, how does somebody make friends? And that was the one question I stopped my mom on, because she was like, you always got friends. I was like, yeah, but how do you make friends? And we were driving, me and mom's had the best conversations in the car, because, I'm a very inquisitive person. And as a young kid, boy, I have more questions than you can believe. I have more questions than you can shake a stick at, as my father would say.
Yeah.
But an example of asking something as simple as how do you make a friend, she took to the Bible and said, you know what? To have friends, you got to show yourself friendly. And I was like, oh, really? Where you come up with that? She was like, it's out of the Bible. I said, Bible wrote stuff like that. So, you grow up with different ideologies and paradigms, which is passed down to the next generation. And you would hope, no matter what you do or how you treat your child, and the most upbringing you can bring them in, that they will continue on with the lessons that you taught them and continue sharing the gifts that you gave them. And for me, that's what I've had with my parents. Uh, Both parents being characters, both being, you think I'm wild. Wish you could have met my parents. Yeah, you be really be shaking your head. You like, damn, Mr. Johnson? Yeah, they was wild. Um, but they always kept it real, kept it 100, and was genuine. And the one thing I learned a lot from both of them. But my father was partially blind and handicapped. Nobody knew to the day of his funeral. A lot of people didn't even know he had one eye. He moved like he had eight. And he was, I found out he was definitely a very well known person in the streets. But you would never know that in his latter years, because he was well respected in the streets and out. Upstanding person. Even my brothers and sisters who aren't as upstanding, but it still had a lot of recognition. And the one thing we all can say is that our father was recognized as a person in the community that was about the community, that always was about helping people no matter what. And that's what I learned from him. Not being shy away from helping people, but if somebody burn your fingertips, don't keep extending your hand. Know when to pull your hand back. So, I learned a lot from both those great people that I was spawned from. What's
Yeah,
wrong?
that's what I wanted to ask you,
You
man.
took us around the goddamn world and didn't answer the fucking question.
I just answered the question. If you listen to the question,
There
I
you
answered the question.
go.
I said what
Yeah, I
what
got
I
you,
got
y'all. I
from
was
them.
just playing with you. No, I was playing with you.
Yeah.
Oh,
But you gave a damn sermon. You went around
I
the
gotta make
world
it for
3
lost time. I
times.
just got here.
Oh,
All right,
which one said?
let
I
me
don't
let me
know.
get you with this one real quick though. All right. Even though parents they parent with it as a unified front, each parent has a different style and different ways that they teach. Now, what I want to know is what were the biggest lessons that your father taught you as opposed to the biggest lessons that your mother had taught you?
I can sum up what my father taught me, and a phrase that we used to say way before he passed away. He used to always tell me, son, a lot of things are gonna happen in your life that you can't control. But what you can control is to always think positive, always do the right thing, keep
Right,
the
right.
faith no matter what. So
Mhm.
those things are the premise of being able to deal with just about any situations that come to you. And those words, they definitely center into me as a person. And I've learned by actions that sometimes when you're not thinking in a positive mindset, you allow things to bring you off your still. As my father would say, you're still, you're center, you're still. And when you don't do the right thing, it always catches up to you. And when you're not genuinely in a concentrated mindset of what people would say faith or believing that something, um you allow those negativity things to come and creep into your mind, and thinking negative can have an outcome of negativity.
Right.
So your mindset is everything. That's what my father taught me.
What about the mom side?
My mom said, stop running your damn mouth so much. She's yeah. See, I still haven't learned that lesson. But on a serious side, mom's is always about being showing love. I remember as a kid, I'm trying to think. I think it was back in '86. I remember seeing my mom. First time I ever seen somebody do this, and it was happened to be my mother. It was a homeless dude in front of the Roy Rogers. I mean, if y'all know what a Roy Rogers is, yeah, you showing your age. Yeah. So it was a guy in front of the Roy Rogers. It was cold as hell. I remember because it was cold. I couldn't wait to get my damn chicken. I was like, damn, man, hurry up. What you doing? Let's go home. And my mom stopped. I didn't know she even brought the man some food and gave him some money. And she said, I hope whatever you're going through, I hope you can, you get through it. Man started crying. It was like, thank you so much. I always was shown from mom how to love, regardless how to love. Now you can't be a fool about love because you can get your heart broken if you put too much love out there. People will take advantage of you, and that's all. I also learned that too, but I learned that by exam by mistakes, by extending myself too much. But you know, mom's always taught love, and many forms of love. Love can
Yeah.
hurt you. Love can whoop your ass. The dynamic of love, as we're talking about, is a multifaceted thing, and that's what mom's taught me wholeheartedly. Love.
That's dope, man. Like mom, she taught me to keep things close to the vest, and you can't miss what you ain't never had.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
word.
So, so I guess that's why I am the way I am. You know what I'm saying?
As Popeye would say, I am's what I am's.
Yep. That's all that I am. But like he, but like as far as the love thing goes, like if it wasn't there, you could never miss it.
Facts.
You dig what I'm
Facts.
saying? You dig what I'm saying?
Facts.
And like, hey Nika, and like never 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 show the next man your move, man. Don't let the left hand, don't let the right hand know what the left hand doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I've heard that before. Yep.
You gotta, in this life, man, you gotta sometimes move covert, man, to get where you need to get.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't let everybody in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's why my circles are small. Like if I feel like you the type of dude that I can't trust, you the type of female I can't trust, I don't even let you in my circle.
Facts.
You know,
Facts. Yes,
those like
sir.
those like you know the two lessons that have they got me somewhat ahead. Around here, so I must be doing something right.
or. You last this long, right? Shoot.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Longer than a lot of our idols, man, or entertainers that we grew up, man. The thing about Biggie and Pac, they didn't grow up. They didn't make these numbers that we made. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah,
they haven't lived as long. They didn't live as long as we have.
yeah, yeah,
Something small, but it could still consider it as a blessing.
yeah.
A lot of entertainers die young, or people of influence die young.
Hmm.
Whether it's they're taken out by whatever it is, we most fortunate to be here as long as we have
Right.
and have the experience that we have.
Yeah.
Karev, you all right?
All right. Speaking of that, okay. Yo, speaking of that, right? Like, what knowledge would you impart to your child to help them navigate this life that we live in right now?
Well, if I had a kid, but I don't, as far as I know, if I had a kid,
Willing to
no, I'm
try.
joking. I'm just joking. We get them DNA tests, no, we don't play around here. But
Yeah.
no, but if I did, I would do my best to instill all the good that I've learned and teach them about all the bad that I've experienced.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to learn about good stuff. It's another when you experience the bad shit. And it's a lot of bad stuff that you can get into. I've seen a lot of people get into a lot of things that were life altering. And as a friend of mine would say, you can learn a lot from a dummy. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I utilize those most unfortunate things that has happened to either people around me, to me, and use those as lessons, learning lessons
Right.
to instill into the next generation, and pray that they don't make the same mistakes that we made,
Yeah.
and pray they have a lot more common sense than we did in certain scenarios, so they make better choices for the future.
Yeah. But see, that's the thing though. In life, we live and learn, and it's crazy.
Absolutely.
Like, and I say this now, like, cause like I was talking to Karev earlier, and I was saying like as much as we teach them, they're going to get out there and make some mistakes, and it's hard to see them go out there and do that. You know what I mean? Yo, nigga, shout out. Like it's hard to go out there as a parent and see them navigate through that because you don't want them to go through the same type of strife, the same type of hurt, the same type of trials and tribulations that you have. You don't never want to see your kid go get to a point where they're living outside their car. You don't know, never want to see your
Yeah.
kid
Yeah.
get to a point where they make a mistake and they end up in the holding cell. You know what I'm saying? You don't never want to see a kid get hurt, end up in the hospital or anything like that. But life is living and life is learning. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? And that's as a father, that's what worries me, man. It really does because you have to see them go through those growing pains and those mistakes. And there's nothing you could do but just sometimes you could help them, but you have to let them sit back and go through it
Hmm.
in order for them to learn so they can teach
Hmm.
their next generation of kids. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree. What about you, Karef?
What do you want
What
to
do you
know?
teach? What do you teach your offspring?
Life is nothing but pain, and you got to get through it
Yeah,
because it's going to hurt you.
there you go.
You're going to meet people who's going to hurt your feelings. You're going to meet disappointment. You're going to meet trials, tribulations.
Right.
Most, well, 90% of the time, you do it to yourself. It's not other people doing it to you. So
Mm,
it
that's the
would,
key.
it would really be about having to deal with the mental side of life, but having you see that's a real deep question because I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
Hmm.
The way I grew up was different than a lot of people growing up. So I grew up with a lot of envy. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't that I didn't have. The one thing I did not have that I really wanted was more social emotional connections. I didn't grow up in a town with grow up people and stuff. I grew up
Okay.
in two different towns with two different lifestyles, and
Mm,
it was a clash of realities all the time. You see what I'm saying?
hmm.
So the when you have big homies who teach you and stuff like that,
Hmm.
nah, that's always been missing from me. For me, you know what I'm saying? So the
Oh
people I
wow.
looked up to, they was all in their own thing. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So me bringing that up is for this reason. When you have somebody that you love as a young one, they are the example for something that you aspire to be. When you have love for somebody as an elder, it's a love for them to be better than you and to go to another place that you haven't been. And that's why
mm,
so many parents hurt their children by living vicariously through them and try to make
mhm,
the kids do the things they couldn't do.
mhm.
Like, damn it, you go play football. You know what I'm saying? And, and your kid may not like sports. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
Or you
yeah.
want to make the girl be a model and maybe she just don't want like that.
Hmm.
Like, bitch, you gonna rap. Like, you know what I mean? Like that I've seen parents do that to their children and it's caused rifts.
Yeah.
And the job, the most main lesson of love a parent can give a child is to teach them what to do when they're no longer available.
Right.
Mm,
Let me tell y'all something.
that's very true.
My mom passed away some years ago, and it wasn't until the Jay Electronica song came out when he said, "I got numbers in my phone that ain't gonna call no more, or that I can't call no more." Let me tell y'all something. I still know the phone number to my house. I'm talking about the landline rotary. This I still remember that. And I remember that number and to think like, yo, I could call that number and the person I want to talk to ain't talking
Mm,
no more. And it's not the fact that you can't talk to them, it's the
mm,
fact that you can't converse with them and they're talking back. That
mm,
lesson is the most hardest lesson to give and the most important one because listen, man, I was reading a comic book, like a comic strip, I'm sorry, in the newspaper, and the kid was talking to his father. And the kid said, "What's the best part about being a dad?" The dad said, "Watching you grow up." He said, "What's the worst part about being a dad?" And the dad rubbed his face. He said, "Watching you grow up." Because in both things, you're happy that they're your young ones becoming a man and he or a lady or something. But then as they grow, you got to go through them having a cold and you can't help them with it. You got to go through boyfriends or girlfriends, heartaches, first job, asking for money. I need help. And sometimes you got children that's so stubborn, they don't want to ask you for help and they just want to do everything on their own and fuck up and they come to you when it's too late.
mhm,
It's so much. And the fact that the opportunity to have this much time with somebody and to prepare them for however much time they're going to have without you being there, that's the hardest lesson ever, man. And
mm,
that's the part of love that we tend to not focus on and take for granted.
mm,
Cause it is a love thing to get your child life insurance. It is a love thing to teach your child this is how you cook rice if you ever get hungry. Because there's all, ladies and gentlemen, if there ever is a famine in the world, guess what? There's always rice. I don't care if it's made out of plastic and you get it from whatever, what the damn corner store. It's still rice. Your child should know how to cook rice. You know what I'm saying? At least. This is how
mhm,
you wash dishes. This is how you tend your yard. This is how you manage your bank accounts. You know how much money you have coming in and how much money you have coming out. This is how you eat. This is how you take care of your body. This is how you get your own food. That's the stuff that's important that I'm telling y'all. Those are the lessons that I do my best to teach. And the one lesson I always went, I taught this to the kids in the neighborhood. I used to be like, yo, y'all want $1? Answer my questions. And I would give them dollars for questions that they answered. We don't teach our children how to think cognitively. Everything's not just yes or no. It's your skills and your reasoning. And man, I'm telling you, one lesson I always teach them is ask why. And if a person gets mad at you asking why, look at that person, no matter how good they are. Because in the words of, I forgot the fat gangster on Batman the animated series, no matter how bright a person looks, they always have a dark negative under the surface. So always be careful who you're around and don't be afraid to ask questions.
You know what? That's funny that you said that because my mom, that's something that my mom has told me. Always ask why. Oh, even if you know the answer, you can learn something new. Always ask why. And so that's why I was always inquisitive as a kid because she taught me to be inquisitive to ask why. It was something you said that was very, very inspiring because you know what? A lot of parents I have seen try to live through their children's, and that's due to the fact that they haven't had the opportunity to really understand their child. I have friends that had complained about their parents not knowing what they really, really want, and then I've seen friends whose parents took the time and micromanage and study their child to know what they were really into and were asking questions. I had a cousin, God rest his soul. He used to ask my cousin around my same age. He would ask him certain things when we were young. And he would ask me because I was over there. Me and my cousins were playing. You know, he would stop us from playing for a little bit, and he sit us down and ask us real questions like, "What do you think about your future?" Now, mind you, we were living in a project, so we was like, "Just get a job." You know what I'm saying? You know, have enough money to get an apartment for ourselves and be able to live on our own. And we were little kids at the time. We were like 6 and 7. But I do remember these questions that he would sit down and ask us for he would grill us for 20, maybe at 28, 30 minutes. And then after that, even after all the questions, even no matter how we answer the questions, y'all go back outside or y'all go play video games or whatever y'all doing. He just would ask us. He would ask us, and he would always do that. And he would always pick our brain as a kid to see what we were thinking about. No matter how outlandish the answers we came up with, it was like we never had a wrong answer. He just wanted to know what we were thinking.
Right.
And that's very, very important. That's very important. For me growing up, Sundays were dinner days, and we would have conversations. We would go to church. Churches are involved and whatnot. But outside of church, we would definitely we'll have those conversations on Sunday. How was your week? What you go through? How your classes? How your teachers treating you? What do you like about school? What do you hate about school? Just simple questions like that opens up the floodgates. Especially when you're talking to a young person, because the creative mind is always at work when until they become like a teenager, and even then, it depends on the person. So that's definitely very, very important to do, and to know the child you're talking to. And I commend you on that, Karev, because I had that growing up too. And no matter what environment I was in, that was definitely important. Conversation time was definitely important. And unfortunately, I grew up in an environment where I seen some people grow up without their fathers, who would come around certain times and wouldn't be there all the time. It was so common in the environment that I grew up in. It's really sad. And then when I moved from that environment to another environment, I saw the opposite. A lot of people, everybody had moms and dads. I'm like, wow, this is different. To see two parents in the household that weren't just my parents.
Right.
Because I at a certain point, I kind of at times felt like an outcast because a lot of people didn't have their parents. Whether one situation or another, some people just had their fathers, or they just had their moms, or they're living with their grandmother. They didn't have their mom and dad. You know what I mean? So I saw that all too common from where I came from. But yeah, I agree with you, Karev. That's imperative to do with the upbringing of the youth and learning how to cook rice. My father taught me how to cook rice.
Ah man, yeah. You know what? But do you think that the kids that grow up without one parent or other would that make them want to be? I mean, would that drive them towards being a deadbeat, or would that galvanize them to be a better parent than the absentee parent was?
Um, for me, for the people that I've known and I've seen, they made it their business to do so. They made it their business to make sure, to the best of their abilities, that that both parties are there. My father, unfortunately, my grandmother didn't want my father around his father because he was a real street dude, a real street dude.
Yeah,
And my grandmother did her best raising my father and my uncles
right.
and my aunt, and did it all on her own until she remarried.
Mhm.
Um, and even with my pop grandpa,
Mhm.
um, he was from Jamaica. He didn't play no games. He didn't play no games, man.
Welcome to Jam Rock. Huh?
Yo, pop, grandpa, didn't
Yeah,
play no games, man.
put that leather to
Me
the back.
you, and you look at me you. He wasn't playing no games. I'm trying to tell you, he
Yeah,
was straight from the island too. He ain't played no games,
yeah.
none,
Word. Like I feel you, man.
none.
'Cause, like me myself, like I could count on one hand how many times I saw my dad through the course of my life, and that made me say like I don't want to be that person. Like my kids is gonna know who their dad is. Unfortunately, up until a certain time, my first three wasn't, they weren't raised in the house to adulthood with me. But first couple of years of their life, they had mom and dad in the same house. But they always, even though we were separated, they always had dad.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? I always left that door open for them. You got my number. Whenever you need me, call me, and I'm right there, no matter what it
word,
is. You know what I'm saying?
word,
To the
word.
youngest one, Rocket.
Yeah, that's my boy right. That's my boy right there, boy.
Daddy had to come through for him. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Even
right,
though he gave
right,
it to her, but Daddy had to come through for him. And if it ain't going my way, it's gonna get drastic. You know,
right.
that's how bad. That's how bad I go for my kids, man. I go hard for them. I go hard. I go extra hard, man. I guess that's why I'm as overprotected as I am, because I want to be the one that's like I want to be there, like the Flash. You need help? Dad, dad, right there. You know what I'm saying?
Word, word, word.
Yeah.
So now I got a question for everybody.
Was
It's time for some fuckery. So let's just have a good conversation about this right now, okay?
All right.
We have a video online circulating of a man who broke up with his girlfriend because her kid was bad. What do y'all feel? How
mm.
y'all feel about that? Because that's a part of love too. Big A, you're gonna date a lady and the child is very uncontrolled. Would you do that?
It depends on our relationship, but you know, as a whole, you're not just getting a woman, you're getting her offsprings as well. So you have to consider your role with that child, with her, and if they can't respect you and she can't control them to gain that respect for you, then you have to know when to go. You really have to know your place, and you got to know when to go.
Mhm.
Um, it sucks, when you build a camaraderie, you build love in a relationship. But if you have that part of the relationship, then it's not going to work. Because if he's acting like that now as a child, when he gets older and he can get his hands on weapons and guns like that, he's not going to show you no respect. So, and then you're going to be older too. Like, if you don't gain the respect now while they're young, when they get older, they're going to be out of control. So you got to know your role. You got to know when to go. You know, um, you got to know when to go.
All right, Nas, why don't you pick up?
Yeah.
Nas, why don't you go? Pick up.
I mean, I played the stepdaddy role. You know what I mean? Um, and fortunately, like with this one, I was there from when this one was young. So I was damn near like real daddy. You know what I'm saying? Like Cash used to say she looked like me. I'm like, but she's not mine. But but in the situation where the child is unruly, and you as a man, as the head of the house, even though it's not your child, you still have to maintain order in that house. And that woman, she has to help you maintain order. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? She has to help you maintain order, like because like you have women that's quick to say, well, if you love me, you gotta love my child too. All right, well, if you love me, you gotta love order in my house. And the child if I'm not there, if I can't discipline your kid, not to say put hands on them, but if I can't tell them, yo, listen, you can't do that. Listen, that's not what we supposed to do. Listen, these are your chores. Listen, take this out, do this, to help raise them up in the way they're supposed to go. Then we can't, I'm out. I'm out. I'm gonna have peace in my house, man. I'm gonna have peace where I'm go wherever I go. So if your child is
Facts.
gonna do you like that, and I seen the video, man, because the dude was like, "See what I'm talking about? Your kid here." Like I told him to go over there. The kid was like, "Man, you going over there, nigga?"
Yeah, he was really disrespectful.
You know what I'm
He was
saying?
really disrespectful.
Like if it's to that point, yeah, I gotta go, man. I gotta go.
You know what? It's funny that we're bringing this up because now I think about it, I had kind of a similar scenario. I wasn't in a full relationship with this woman.
Mhm.
We had relations, but I was going over there. I was, spending time with her. Of course, feeding them and everything else like that. But she had a son that was almost not as bad as that kid was, but almost, and he had emotional problems, and that was due to lack of his father not being there and whatnot. And I understood it because it wasn't the first time I seen that. Unfortunately, I have a family member that went through that, and that could be detrimental to a psyche of a kid in general. Um, an emotional abusive father, but overall, as I looked at the situation, I was like, yeah, I can't. I'm not built for this. Like, I'm not built for this because if you don't want me to even verbally reprimand your child,
Right,
then there's no room for me here
right.
because if it's going on right now, as like I said before, he get older, he might get beside himself. And as a man, you ain't gonna let no kid try to put their hands on you. Exactly. Put their hands on you and whatnot. So it's like, bro. And then as a man, you put a kid in his place, but you don't want to hurt him.
Right.
But then some kids will go too far, and then the emotional ones will just grab impulses to grab a weapon and do something because they know they can't physically, you know, do nothing to you, and then they want to harm you
Right.
you know, because it's all driven by emotion. It's not thinking by, logic at that point. It's all emotional driven. So, like I told Karev, before we even started talking about this, because I knew we were going to talk about this specifically. The guy did the right thing by leaving. I feel he did the right thing by leaving because if he stayed there any longer, it's going to cause a conflict eventually, and it's going to bubble. It's going to pop like a pimple. Like it's gonna come to a head, and then somebody's going to end up getting hurt in that scenario.
Yeah.
Really,
I
because
mean,
the kid is already being violent at this age now. When,
right.
like I said, when he gets older, he's gonna feel like he put his hands on this man, and you don't know what this man is capable of doing.
Right.
You don't, and people don't know what other people are capable of doing until it's too late.
Right.
Then it's you don't want to hear I'm sorry or I didn't. No, no, you should have. You stepped into an adult's position. Now you forced me to become the ops, as they would call it. They say now the ops.
Yeah. Like John said, you still got to deal with the real father.
Exactly,
So I mean,
exactly. You do something to that little kid, then all of a sudden, daddy wants to jump in
yeah,
for
daddy
real.
want to get mad. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Where were you before all this? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Word.
yeah.
So it's best to leave, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too. But see, here's the flip side of it. We also have a video of a young lady getting into it with her substitute teacher
Mm.
over a phone in the classroom. And for y'all who did not see the video, just to paraphrase and sum it up, The teacher took the substitute teacher took the girl's phone, but we saw it from there. We didn't see what happened before.
Right.
And what happened was the girl's like, "But give me my phone." The teacher's like, "No, I told you to put your phone away. Now I've confiscated it." The substitute says she followed the school's policy while going behind to the desk and telling the girl to get out of her face. The student bumped the teacher, and the teacher was pushing her out of her space, bumping her back out of her space, like, "You're in my space. Leave me alone. Like, stop. Such and such."
Yeah.
And the student went to go smack the woman in the head.
She did land it. She landed it.
Okay, well, at the end of the day, she landed on the floor too, and that substitute teacher proceeded to pummel her ass for trying to smack her or smacking her in the head.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have like the woman, this teacher.
And she put her in. She didn't just pummel her and beat her up. She put her in a submissive situation where she subdued the child and told other students to go grab another teacher.
Yeah,
so she did. So she did follow protocol as where she disarmed the child, put her down, held her down because she was going crazy, and she told students to go call another teacher. So she did everything according to protocol.
Right. So now the substitute teacher's livelihood is in danger because she cannot get another teaching job if she is found guilty of assaulting a child, etc.
Mm-hmm.
As a parent in that situation, what do y'all think? Nas, you go first.
As an overprotective dad, I'm gonna go off the deep end. I'm not gonna lie to you, because the like when you hearing stuff is blah 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 blah. She put your hands on your kid. What? You know what I'm saying? But from there, you have to calm down and listen to the whole situation. Now, might not like the fact that this person put their hands on my kid, but if my child was acting unruly and to a point where they assaulted somebody and is not in self-defense, that kid is in the wrong. My child is in the wrong. So I'm gonna deal with my child accordingly. You know what I mean? I'll probably go to bat for the teacher because right is right, right is right, and wrong is wrong.
Uh-huh.
You feel me?
Uh-huh.
First and foremost, you got to raise your child, not so much as even talk back to an adult, unless in certain situations. But like, not even to talk back to an adult, not even definitely not raise your hands at me
or hit.
Yeah.
Hey.
Tell the truth, we wasn't raised like that.
Hell,
you know what I'm saying?
Hell no. My parents came to school because the teacher even lied on me and said, I said, fuck you to her. And the class was like, and there were students that was like, yo, he didn't say that. But the teacher had it out for me. And then the teacher was so disrespectful. She got rude and disrespectful to my mom, which is the wrong thing. My mom's almost hopped on her. Yeah. So, and it just shows that, you have some teachers that are in the wrong, that don't give a damn, and they'll, do their own thing. Yeah. But in this scenario, the teacher, she actually handled herself correctly.
Yeah. And now you have video evidence.
Mm-hmm.
You have video evidence. The kid, that was my kid. I beat my kid ass, man. Because now you on video. The video that went viral of you going in and assaulting this teacher because the teacher confiscated she didn't steal it from you. She confiscated your phone. You'll get the phone back, or either they're gonna call me and I'll get the phone back, and then we're gonna handle the other issue with you being disruptive in the class. You took it upon your grown ass to go up there in that teacher's face, not only chest bumper, but you swung at the teacher. Teacher had no choice but to do what she had to do to protect herself because she was in a self-defense situation.
So what do you think of the mother's response of everything?
What was the mother's response?
What do you think it was?
Not my baby.
Oh, you put your hands on my daughter. You crazy? I'm gonna F that up. I'm gonna fuck that bitch up. She said, no, that's my motherfucking daughter. My cousin's going in. We gonna come there and fuck you up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I heard it. I heard it all before. I've heard it all before.
Actually,
already know. Yeah.
We gonna surround this motherfucker and burn this down.
Okay. Actually, the mother didn't say any of that. The mother sided with the teacher. And the mother said, for one thing, if a child is ever disrespectful to an adult and you stand up for your child, you're a bad parent.
Right.
Wow.
That was the first thing she said.
Wow, I'm impressed.
So, right, the so-called response did not happen. The mother said that she was going to handle her daughter. She was asked to put her phone away. And she said the most appalling thing in the whole video was the fact that she tried to smack the lady in the head. And
Right.
that's where the mother felt the most embarrassed.
Right.
She said, so if anybody out there thinking she wants to go fight the teacher, they're absolutely wrong. She wants to fight her daughter.
Right.
Go discipline her daughter. So I would say, as a society, I think we have a lot of growing up to do to find out what love is as a parent, because we'll go to war blindly for somebody, and that's not love. See, the one thing we talk about God, if you believe God, God the Father, God the Mother, whatever, they say God is just. He makes it rain on God
Just
makes
and
it rain on
unjust.
the just and the unjust alike. And where there's God, there is justice. So if we're not raising our children with just cause and giving just response, then we're not raising our children. And ladies and gentlemen, please stop telling me there's no book on parenthood, because the Bible's been in there, and it's been in every hotel room that you got some one night stand butt in. So y'all need to get up there and start reading it. You know what I'm saying? This guy clapped his hands together. You gotta get up and read it, because yes, there are biblical lessons on your child, on how to raise a child. And let's say we got on last week and said how women always say to the Proverbs 31 woman, where at the end of the chapter, it was Solomon's mother who wrote that chapter and said, "Oh, that type of woman, yeah, they really don't really exist. So it's hard for you. It's hard to find that. So do your best."
Good luck, nigga.
Also in parenting, it tells you spare the rod, you spoil the child. It also tells you there's certain things young men should do to become men. And it also tells you the character of some of the most highly decorated men in the Bible and women, and how they pass that stuff on to their children. There's a reason why Abraham was the father of many nations. There's a reason why Rebecca was chosen to be the wife of Isaac. There's a reason why Jacob did what he had to do to get both his wives. There's a reason why what was it, Hosea who married the prostitute? It was a reason why he did that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's lessons in all these things. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to our brother Jarnell, because he said we allow children to express themselves without boundaries and consequences in every instance nowadays. And when the parents, the woman said in one of the videos I saw, the parents, the schools are scared of the children, and the parents are scared of the children, and the children are policing themselves. It's got to a point where there's no love in the world when it comes to being a parent. Because now if people let you do anything you want, that's not real love. If people let you do whatever you want with no consequences, that's people allowing you to learn the hard way. You always see people like, my kids don't do that with me. I just give them the look, and it's a wrap. Well, some of these kids are giving y'all a look back. So what he used to say? It used to say, if I tell you once, I told you twice, don't fuck with me. You don't get the back slap of death or something, then not trying to be funny, but that's really what it is. There was a reason why nobody sat on their grandmother's nice couch with
the plastic on it.
With the plastic on it. There's a reason why that was like that. Or there's a reason why you ain't eat off those good plates. There's a reason why somebody told you not to go to the store and don't ask for nothing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But unfortunately, in today's society, people let the children do whatever the hell they want. So are we really loving our children the way we're supposed to? Guess what? We can't answer that question for you. You have to answer that question with integrity in your actions. You know, the one I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna go off. The worst thing you could do is talk to a child. And I don't mean conversation. See, unfortunately, people think all you can do is talk to somebody and they got it. As a teacher, I'm going to tell you, there's different learning styles. So if you don't learn your child, you're not going to teach your child. Some children can learn by you talking to them. Some children learn by you doing things with them. Okay? At the end of the day, learn your child so you know how to guide your child to navigate through this world. Because as an adult now, I could tell you could talk to me till you blue in the face, or I'm blue in the face, listening, or angry, red in the face because I'm listening to you and I'm sitting there doing nothing. Or you can show me something and then I can put it in practical use and it means something to me now because I did it. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we're going to leave it off right there. Would y'all like to do y'all segments or y'all want to leave it for something else?
You do segment. I'm ready for my segment. I'm
All
prepared.
right. So because we're doing segments, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to Big A's part of the show. And sir, Big A
Yes,
is
sir.
gonna set the mood. Meaning, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get your neck wet. So, hey,
While you're whooping ass.
hey,
Woo!
tell them,
Wow!
tell them what's on the docket today. How are you setting the mood?
Wow! Wow! Hold on, give me a second. Oh, yo, with a wet neck, yo, y'all niggas crazy today. So today we have the fragrance of the day is Mancera Instant Crush. This is what some in the perfume and the fragrance community consider a clone of Baccarat 540. Instant Crush has the top notes of bergamot, mandarin, saffron, and ginger. Middle notes of jasmine, amberwood, patchouli. Base notes of sandalwood, vanilla, oak moss, and white musk. This right here smells amazing. Actually, smells just like Baccarat 540. It smells very close to it. I have another fragrance that was actually a lot cheaper than this. That smells exactly like it. Two other fragrances actually, but this right here, it's got the pretty bottle, as you can see, the gold bottle. This is definitely a mood setter. Even when I've actually had it on around the house, I've actually had my relatives and even neighbors when I say what's up. Oh, you smell pretty good. What's that? Especially my neighbor. Oh, what you got on today? So this right here is definitely one of those mood setting fragrances when you're out and about. People will notice it because it has a strong body and it lingers. It has a nice scent trail. And the song I would have for this that sets the mood is Backstreet Joy. Because when you smell it, it's giving joy.
All right.
Yeah, on the fact that that video was dedicated to their daughters.
There you
Facts.
go.
So when he
There you
puts on
go.
that cologne, he either gonna give some advice or it's gonna smell just like that switch. He's gonna tell you to get so you can whoop your ass.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
All right.
Right.
That and
But
that's Mancera Instant Crush.
hey, we have a question that came into the show.
Sure.
And the question was, you talk about fragrances a lot.
Mhm.
What are the hot spots someone puts on fragrances correctly so they don't over or underdo it when they want to go out?
Okay. Before I can answer that question, you have to know the strength of the fragrance that you'll be putting on. Because when you have a strong fragrance like this that'll linger for a while, you the general hot spots are usually, let's say, the pulses, so the wrist, the elbow, behind the ear. All right. But if you want something and if you're going to be in like an office environment or in a work environment and you have a strong fragrance that's going to linger, you don't want to overdo yourself with phrase. But the hot spots, if you're in a working environment, is the shoulders, the ears, the back of the neck, and behind the neck on the collar, on the back. That's the main places you want to spray. It'll last. Leave a nice scent trail if it's strong enough to leave a scent trail. Even if you just put it on before you go to the office, even put by just putting your fragrance behind your neck and on the back of your collar, it will always leave a scent trail no matter where you go. I've had some coworkers, say, I could tell you were here. I'm like, why? Because even when you left, it still smelled great in here. And I'm like, thank you. That's a compliment, And then I've had others who may not like the fragrance I might have had on, like, oh, it's kind of strong. What was that you had on? Because I could smell it. I can smell it still. So, the variations vary per person. Even if you get a lot of compliments on one fragrance, there'll still be that one hater, like, you got too much on. What is that? Don't put that again. Don't wear it again. So, you can't please everybody, but those are the hot spots: neck, ears, and the chest, the shoulder line.
All right. We will have that for you again as a clip when we do our shorts. Make sure you look for the shorts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on ANN R&B on YouTube. Now, we're going to go to our brethren Nas, and he's going to tell us about wasted potential. All right, sir. What's your wasted potential for the week?
All right, my wasted potential for the week is Heaven by Jamie Foxx off his Unpredictable album.
Mm,
Now, this
great.
song was dedicated to his daughter Corinne. When I first heard this song, it described exactly how I felt when I brought my twins home.
Mm,
Like the song mentions that like his daughter was an angel that left heaven because she had unfinished business, and that business was to be the love of her father's life, like his child, and like when I first heard that song, I was like, "Yo, this is exactly how I felt when I brought those babies home. Like they were like my two little miracles, man.
mm,
It was man. It was like I said earlier, man. Those are the most precious things I had in my house, man. My girls, man. So man, it's like he said, we take for granted how precious life can be, you
mm.
know. And you don't understand it till sometimes you don't understand it till you bring another life into this world, or till you help bring another life into this world, man. So that's my song for this week. I dedicate this song to all my children because whenever I sing the song, it's like I don't say angel, I say angels. You know what I mean? For all our
Mm.
children, man. So this is dedicated to all four of you. All right, love you. Jamie Foxx, get well soon.
Yeah, word.
Potential for the week.
All right.
That's a great song too, man. That's a great
Word,
song.
word.
So for everybody out there, we hope that you enjoy and R&B. Today, we didn't have Nika in, and we hope that Nika gets well. Shout out to you and your mom. We hope everything's okay. Uh, yeah, we ain't gonna do bug out like we usually do, but today was a good episode. And next week we have a special guest coming, so make sure y'all prepare for something a little different, and we're gonna have some fun.
We
So right
always
now,
have fun. Song of the week.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that.
yeah,
Song of the week.
that's why I came up. The
Who's gonna
song of the
go first?
week.
Song of the week.
Is that
All right,
what,
hey,
what
well, Nas, you lead the segment. Go ahead.
you
So,
said it on? All right. Song of the week I have is Regina Bell, If I Could.
ooh.
Regina Bell, If I Could. I told you, I'm gonna say this like a million times during this whole show. I'm an overprotective dad. Every first day of the school year, since I've been taking kids to school, like this song will pop into my head.
Mm,
And that's because it's like once they leave your care and go into the school, it's out of your hands now. You know what I mean? And it's like, what are they gonna get into? Like, Lord, please protect them as they're in the school. Even up to now, like it's like if I could just take away, if I could just take on your burdens for you and walk you through your hard times, I would do that for you. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like this song sums it up right here, man. Like I would shield your innocence from time. You know what I mean? Like I would, man. I can never cry your tears. Like who every parent wants to be able to like to take the pain away from their kids and just bear that burden for themselves.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But this is a song that would come up like every time I drop my kids off to school. Like I remember one time you asked if there was a song that would bring a tear to your eye. Like before I said no, but like this is one.
Mm,
This is one. If I Could by Regina Bell.
okay.
That's deep. That's real deep, man.
All right, who you want to go next?
Let's give it the big A.
Yeah, but never do. Okay. So since I knew what we were gonna be talking about this week, um, I actually had two songs for the week. The first song was alluding to our serious conversation. It's a song by Beyonce. It's called Daddy. It was off the Dangerous in Love soundtrack, the album. It was actually a hidden track. It's actually, if once you listen to the last song,
Yeah.
it goes into Daddy, right? She talks about all the things that her father did for her, the sacrifices and whatnot. And I thought it was customary, or it was fitting for this song to be one of the songs of the week first for me, because it was on the line, the vein of parenting, and it's somebody giving their parents flowers while they're still here in the form of a song. So I thought that was very fitting for, or to none the least have it as the one of my songs of the week. And then my other song of the week is by Jamie Foxx, VIP. It's one of my favorite songs. That's also off the Unpredictable album. And yeah, this sums up the fellas. If we going out, we having a good time. Everybody at my party is in VIP. That's right. We gonna have some drinks on me. We gonna party. Yeah, that's my other song of the week. Back to you, Nas.
Oh, you want to pick a second one? All right. Well, you know what? My Love Is Your Love by Whitney Houston.
That's a good one.
That goes along the Regina Bell thing. If I could just go, if I could just, like, if I was about to go through the doors of heaven, I'd be okay as long as you're with me. You know what I mean?
That's dope. That's real dope, for real.
I just love the chorus. Like, your love is my love and my, like, it's. I love songs. It's a real dedication to her daughter. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's a dedication to your child. Like, so, like, when I think of my children, I think of songs like that, like Regina Bell's "If I Could," and "Your Love Is My Love" by Whitney Houston. She said tomorrow is Judgment Day, and I'm standing on the front line. I'm okay as long as you're right there. I'm gonna be right there with you. I'm gonna be right there to guard and protect you. You know what I mean? So that's number 2. Your Love Is My Love. Hip hop soul. What you got for us, brother?
The song I have is Zion by Lauryn Hill.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
If you don't know the album, that's one of the greatest albums of all time. And that album is about love in every aspect: relationships, community, your skin color, who you are, and being a parent as well. So Lauryn Hill Zion is my pick, because what a child means to you when they come into the world. There's I don't know how people walk away from children or even hurt children, but when they come into the light in your life, it's remarkable, and there's nothing to be said. So now that we got that out the way, I got my song of the week. Nas, take us out, man. Tell them what to do. Tell them how they can follow us and take us out.
All right, you know what? Before we do that, I know we're running a little bit long. Listen, I want to. This is not R&B joint, but I want to go for the Young Men, the Foundation
by Exhibit.
Yeah, by Exhibit. I like that song because he's basically talking to his son and telling him, like, he's trying to prepare him for life and how it's going to be when he gets older. And it's like he was telling the future. In one lyric, he said something about, like, the police disrespect you. By the time you come of age, you're probably blast on sight. You got to think he was saying this in 1990 something. Look what's happening now. You know what I mean? Like, that's a very dope song, man. So, like, listen to the Foundation by Exhibit, man. And with that said,
I gotta give another one in.
Give another one, because
that was for the young men. No, that was for the young men.
Yeah.
So for the young ladies, listen to Ja Rule's Daddy's Little Baby, where he's talking to his daughter. Vinny Vici album.
Yep.
Everybody hate Ja Rule, but he did make good music. So
Yes, sir.
let's give Ja his props. And,
What would I be without you?
I'm gonna leave that alone. That remind me of the mixtape. I'm cool. Nas, take us out. Let's get out here.
All right, this is your man Nas Romantic.
Tell them how to subscribe, man. Tell them how to get to us.
All right, here with the hip hop soul Karev, the personality, the nasty one, Big A. We are A&N on R&B, part of Heritage Hip Hop. Wherever there's YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, there's Heritage Hip Hop. Wherever there is Heritage Hip Hop, there is A&N on R&B. So follow us on the IG at letter ANNONRNB, and on YouTube at A_N on R&B.
That's right. He said %. And y'all don't forget that shit.
So with that said, I hope you enjoyed the show. Love your kids, man. Love your kids. Love your kids. Be the
one last song, Whitney Houston. Our children are the future. Because that I didn't realize that song, how powerful it was until I became an adult. They made us sing it in elementary school when it first came out. That's how old I am. And you know, he's like, "Oh, we singing a Whitney Houston song. Why are we saying Whitney Houston? Big head ass Whitney Houston. She get high all the time anyway." But anyway, we was saying that as kids, but now as an adult and really understanding the essence of those words and what they really, really mean, man, our children are the future, man. And if we don't teach them the right way, Lord, have mercy on all of us.
Yeah, I agree, man. And myself, I'm quite particular to the Randy Watson version. And with that said, this is A&N on R&B. I gave you the location. Check us out. We here every Sunday at 8. Check out the snippets because we got snippets coming to you soon. Well, we got snippets on right now. Check them out. A&N on R&B on Instagram page. I'm glad you enjoyed your show. Kids, I love you. And until next time, as always, we'll be thinking of you.
R.I.P. and much love to Whitney Houston. Peace.